This is the Krishna News Network coming to you from Berkeley, California. And we have Purjit Das here, and my name's Gadadhar. We're here to discuss a little bit about artificial intelligence, and in particular, Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, who is advocating artificial intelligence. He's made some statements about it. Our brain is a computer, basically, right? It accepts, rejects, and so that's kind of, it's very robotic. So it's up to us to either we accept or reject. His point is that that this artificial intelligence was created by certain people who are so intelligent, and they're all coming together and typing this stuff in, and then the computer will tell us what is the truth.
So the
What is
computers,
the right way to go?
the computers will take over.
Well, his idea is that, I don't know if he's basically advocating that we must really adopt this, because this is the truth. All these things that the artificial intelligence is accepting or rejecting, those are the right things. Those are, that's the right way to go, because all of these people have put in their input.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is really, who are these people? Where did they come from? What were they thinking when they were making this? And is it really true? Should we really reject what the computer, the artificial intelligence, is telling us to reject? Should we accept it? Is that real? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the discussion.
Okay.
They're talking also about putting computer chips in our brain.
Ah, okay.
Right there, and we should be computerized.
Should open up to this idea.
Yeah.
Well, Prabhupada, he says one thing about the artificial intelligence, that he's challenging the scientists that make a machine which creates another machine, which creates another machine, which creates another machine, like that. This is what Krishna created, like a insignificant flower. It's a machine. It works in the same way. Why the scientists have developed this idea of a machine? Because they saw it in nature. They're just imitating nature. They're nothing original. So in nature we can see a perfect machinery, that one organism creates another organism, that creates another organism, and so on, so on. So this is the challenge to these scientists. Can they make a robot which creates another robot, which creates another robot, and this is called life? Mm-hmm. See, one of the symptoms of life is that a living organism can create byproducts.
Right.
This is the symptom of consciousness. According to the Vedas, there's 6 symptoms of consciousness. There's the birth, growth, sustenance, creating byproducts, dwindling, and death. Mm-hmm. So as soon as we can observe any of these symptoms, we can understand there's consciousness in that particular body. We don't have to even talk about the soul, whether there's soul or not. We're speaking of consciousness. How do we know that somebody is conscious? Because there are these 6 symptoms.
Right.
A matter, insentient matter, cannot show any of these 6 symptoms. So this is a fundamental understanding. This is scientific. We don't have to believe in anything. We can see it. So these artificial intelligence is not any sort of advancement, because it's still a dead matter. It doesn't have the intelligence as a human. The intelligence is the next door neighbor of the living entity, according to the Vedas. Like Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness is so called Buddhi Yoga, the yoga of intelligence. Modern scientists, they define intelligence as the ability to adjust to the circumstances. But Prabhupada defines intelligence as the ability to discriminate. Ability to discriminate. There's a big difference. Mm. Adjust means whatever is the standard, I adjust. Right. If Hitler is, the king of the world, I just become a Nazi. And that is considered, according to the scientists, intelligence. Stephen Hawking, he gives this definition of intelligence. Mm. But from our Vedic point of view, definition of intelligence is the ability to discriminate Prabhupada actually, he says, the ability to seeing things from proper perspective. So this is a different definition of what is intelligence. So what they're doing is the artificial intelligence of that intelligence to adjust, like
Right.
a machine can adjust. That's how they program the machines, just so they can adjust to the situation. This is not intelligence.
Right.
This is the intelligence of an animal. You know, a dog comes into the kitchen, he grabs some, food, you beat him with a stick, so he adjusts, okay, I should not do it. But this is not intelligence, this is an animal intelligence. The real intelligence
Robotic almost, yeah.
is to discriminate. This is good, this is bad, this is favorable, this is unfavorable. This is makes sense, this doesn't make sense. Right? People say everything is belief, even science is a belief. Because you have to believe in something, right? You're not perfect, so you're always putting faith into someone. Yeah, that is true. But intelligence means to discriminate. This faith, this person makes sense. This person doesn't make sense. Or it's reasonable to go to an authorized university where they teach medical science and learn how to operate from them, as opposed to someone who just operates on his own and he puts a video on YouTube and you're learning from that. So it is intelligence. This is a university with a tradition. If I go there, most likely I'm going to learn how to do a surgery. So this is the foolishness of these people. They are very proud that we can make life, and the machines, they will take over, and so on and so on. They're putting all these whimsical paranoia scenarios that, you better, embrace the technology, otherwise, you're going to be finished as a species. This is all nonsense.
Right. And this technology too, they come up with these technologies, and just like they came up with the car, they thought, oh, well, we what do we need a horse that's very slow, and it has a wagon, and we can come up with this car. So they invented this car, and they thought, oh, this is going to make life so much easier, right? But there's so many things that now that you have this car, it becomes very, very complicated. It's not just that, oh, you have a nice, car. Now you need a mechanic. Now you need to produce these tires. Now you need to produce the engine. And now you need to produce this metal that goes around it. You have to find the metal. So all these things are needed. You need to get gasoline. You have to go purchase it and buy it. Then when it breaks down, you have to go fix it. So all these things were much simpler if you just had a horse. And you feed the horse some hay, and then all you need is some hay and some water, and then you have transportation.
Yeah.
But now they're in the name of advancement, now you have to have all these other things. Same thing with this artificial intelligence, right? We have now we have to have the parts, then we have to have the other 3 or 4 humans that have to program it, and we have to pay them, and then it just multiplies and multiplies and multiplies into these things that are really not necessary. They're not necessary, they're unwanted things. What is the word?
Anartha.
Anarthas, yeah. So these things are really not necessary, and they're a means for these people to control other people, really.
Yes. Prabhupada also says that if I can get the real thing, why should I get the artificial? Like you have, let's say, ghee, right? And they made the margarine. Or you have the butter, and they made the margarine. So margarine, the taste is awful.
And it kills you. It actually kills you. It
So
kills your
if I'm
organs,
intelligent, why should I be so attracted with the artificial intelligence? Let me get the real intelligence from the spiritual master.
Right.
Why should I be attracted to the artificial intelligence? Let me get the real intelligence. But people want everything artificial.
Right.
They want everything because they're envious of God. The word art means artificial. Like when there's a flower, this is created by God, by Krishna.
Right.
And they make an artificial flower. So that's very nice. It requires some talent and some intelligence, very nice. But the real flower is always better than the artificial flower.
Right.
So what is the use of producing this artificial intelligence if you can get the real intelligence? If the real intelligence is already there,
Right.
Why are you creating artificial and selling it as something wonderful? Prabhupada gives that example that a person, he learns how to bark like a dog. And he goes to a marketplace and he barks like a dog, and everyone's like, wow, this person is very nice. He learned how to bark. Wow, it's so great. And they give him money. But, you know, there's so many dogs, they're barking. You know, what's the big accomplishment? Just
Right.
because he learned how to bark like a dog doesn't make him any special. Why he doesn't learn something nice, something that is helping people, simply barking like that? So what do you do with the artificial intelligence? That is the real question. Like, we're using intelligence to get out of the material existence altogether. Because you can have all the artificial machines, all the vacuum cleaners moving, but ultimately you have to die.
Right.
That invention, you have that intelligence, how to get out of the cycle of birth and death, how to stop your death. You have that intelligence, and we can challenge them. If you can't solve this with your intelligence, then what is the use of your intelligence? Then you're fool number one.
Right.
Just like Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, he's complaining to Krishna that except you, no one can clarify this doubt I have. I have this problem that I'm facing, death. And I have come to a position where I have exhausted all my possibilities, all my speculation, all my scientific research, and I don't know what is the solution. So at that point he surrenders to Krishna, he accepts him as a spiritual master. This, the scientists or the modern society, they have no idea what it is. They have no idea what it means to surrender to a spiritual master, because there's no such a spiritual master. Everyone is a conditional authority or a scientist. Scientist is someone who's scientist because he smashed the other scientist. He makes something special and he proves that the previous scientist is nonsense.
Right, and then 10 years later, some other scientist comes along.
Yes. So naturally, when people surrender, when they go to school, they don't actually surrender. They just, you know, make a show of surrender just to learn that temporary so-called science, which is applicable only for a certain period of time for material purpose, so they can, you know, get their material necessities, get their salary, get their temporary jobs, like that. And then again, the knowledge is lost. It's disproved. It's not real knowledge. It's actually faith. It's a belief. It's a religion. It's a fanaticism.
Right.
People don't know why. What if we, just like this article, which is a little scratched, what these things actually mean. And if you read Prabhupada's books, and if you simply question, then you can see that these things, that they have no meaning. It's meaningless. So what is the use of that sort of knowledge? It's like a prisoner in a cell.
Exactly.
That he is going to be executed. There's a death penalty in 7 days from now on. And he finds great pleasure from discovering some improvement, that, you know, his toilet in a prison didn't flush, but now it's flushing because of some new technology. So he's very happy.
Right.
But the point is, he's going to get executed. He's going to be killed. That is the real point. So you can make so many nice advancements, you can make your life easier, but ultimately your life will be taken away from you.
Right.
So-
It'll seem easier, but actually, all these things, these so-called automations, with it, it's a scam, really, actually, because they want these automated cars, and they're saying, oh, we're going to take away the driver, and there's going to be a automatic car coming to take you around. But no, they're not just they're actually not very intelligent, because they are taking away the driver. Okay, but then do you know there's programmers that program these things, and there's always some mistake. Something goes wrong. There's always a guy who's going to have to go fix it. Like I was saying, you know, you come up with this thing that's supposed to make things easier, but then actually it's more complicated and it takes more things, and
Yes.
it's like we think we're making things easier, the internet, but it's so distracting. It's like a web. That's why they call it the web, right?
It makes
Just,
life.
you're very stuck on everything, and you can't focus on anything.
It makes life easier, but for what price?